Hello, happy Monday, Market Monday, where we talk about the markets. And today's live stream, we're going to talk about apparently this. Is it Roaring Kitty? I forget what I put in the title. I think it's Roaring Kitty had a $175 million bet on GameStop. I think he had options. I have the article here, so I'll definitely share it in a minute. But it's interesting, right? It's not a stock like it's a meme stock, right? So it's very influenced by Reddit, the retail investors, and then also I think institutional investors get in it as well. I don't know if retail has enough money to be pumping stuff up this much, but I guess if people are using leverage, then I guess you can. And I feel like even if there was a I think people consider retail like individual people, but I think you got to consider like if an individual person has access to, or able to leverage up to 100 million, I think you should consider that institutional, even though it's one person. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, that person, obviously over leveraged. I think they had calls for months now, and I think I was watching the Meet Kevin live stream, and they were saying how the roaring Kitty person could potentially be half a billionaire. I don't know by the end of today, or I'm not sure when his options expire, but that'd be pretty cool, right? To have $175 million bet and then become close to a billionaire by the end of that. I would definitely not do anything like that. I feel like, I mean, in order to leverage 175 million, you probably have to have like at least half of that or a quarter of that to place that type of bet, right? Because I'm not sure. I think you could like 10x, 20x leverage. So let's see. If you had $10 million, I guess you could have 10 million and then do like a 20x leverage type of position, and that would work. I'm not sure how much his net worth is, but we'll check when we look at the article. But yeah, let's get into the markets. Let's see how the markets is doing. Just my overall view from the beginning of the day, I didn't really see much going on besides the GameStop stuff. Oh, that didn't switch. That's pretty nice. Before it usually takes off my whole screen, but now it just added to the bottom. So that's pretty nice. All right. So if we look at the S&P, the S&P is up, Dow's down a little bit, Nasdaq is up, Russell is down, crude oil is up, and gold is up. All right. I honestly don't think gold is going to be doing anything in the near future. I mean, it might be going up depending on how the dollar goes, like inflation and how that affects the dollar. But you're going to see things like Bitcoin go up a lot more than gold, just because again, the gold is stabilized already. It's a 10 or 8, $10 trillion market, and people don't really see much of an upside. Now, a lot of people like Peter Schiff think that it's going to go to like 10,000 per, I think it's per ounce, right? Ounce of gold. But we'll see, right? I don't think it's going to outperform anything like perform an asset like Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's at 1 trillion. It has a lot more room to grow. And then also just the ease of purchasing Bitcoin it's just a lot more easier, right? Digital. It's easier to send. Okay. So that's it. Let's look at some stocks. So we look at GME, GameStop. Probably look at this chart for a little bit. Yeah, so it has a nice bounce. So I'm not sure. Once we read the article, we'll see where he took his positions, because they said he was already, he was already poised or had his positions in for a while. So we'll see how long and how much he was in. But it's a $9.8 billion market cap, so definitely a market cap that could be manipulated. Like I said before in one of my other live streams, market cap changes over time. I remember when I was trading stocks and a huge market cap was, or a small market cap, and let me see if I'm saying this correctly. So what I'm trying to say is this is 9.8 billion. This is considered a small market cap compared to like a Facebook, Meta, or an Apple, right? But a small market cap before was considered a big market cap before, is what I was trying to say. And before, a small market cap might have been anything under a billion, right? But nowadays it's so there's a lot of liquidity, there's a lot of money in the system, and it's easy to pump these stocks up to 15-20 billion-dollar market cap. You can see the price is at 38 and it's close to $10 billion, and the all-time high was around 75. Right, so it's at least 3x from there. So like a $30 billion market cap at its all-time highs. Who knows if it's gonna pass that? I would definitely not be investing in GameStop. It's very risky. It's a meme stock. I don't even see that many GameStops around. So this is definitely a meme stock play, because when it comes to revenue and things like that, I'm not sure how they're staying alive. I think a lot of the games have transitioned to digital downloads. And I don't think they have any type of subscription. Let's go to their financials really quick. Let's look at their financials. Yeah. I think this is in millions, right? All numbers are in thousands. So I wonder for all numbers in thousands. Okay, does that mean we have to times it by 1,000? Or does that mean that's 5 million? Because if I times that by 1,000, yeah, 5 billion. There's no way their revenue is 5 billion. All right, let me look that up really quick. What does that mean? All thousands. Okay. So it is. So it's basically saying times it by 1,000. So total revenue, 5 billion. I'm trying to figure out where I don't know where they get their revenue from. 5 billion, is that how much they're selling in games? I guess games is still a big thing, and maybe there's a lot of. Let me see how many. Here's another question: how many GameStop locations are there? And I guess GameStop is kind of like the only store left. There's no I guess there's Best Buy. Okay, there are 2,960 GameStop stores in the United States as of October 2026. So all right, so 2,000 stores, and let's say $1 million a year in revenue. So maybe they do $2 million a year in revenue. Who knows? And maybe some stores do. So I could see it. Okay. And maybe they have other type of models where they make money that I'm not aware of. So okay, so 5 billion in revenue, 3.9 gross profit, 1.2 operating expense. So operating income, they're negative, right? They're negative on their income. They're not bringing any money in. Pre-tax income, 13. Yeah, no, these people are not making any money. Right? Negative operating income. Yeah. So yeah, they're just not doing good. All right, let's look at some other tickers here. Let's look at Nvidia. I saw Nvidia moving up. Nvidia. Oh, Nvidia's doing pretty good. 1150. Hopefully, okay. So I hear that Apple is coming out with an AI announcement. I think on July 10th. So they're gonna announce their new AI product. So it should be interesting to see what they come out with. People are saying it's gonna be big. So remember, Nvidia is going up 1150, and they're gonna do a stock split. I think July 10th. So that might attract investors to Nvidia. All right, psychologically, remember with a stock split, it doesn't do anything to the overall price of the stock, but it basically brings more eyes onto the stock, right? Because people psychologically, they're doing I think a 1 for 10. So right now it's probably going to be like 11.15, $115 per Nvidia stock. So it's just going to be a lot more accessible for people to buy stocks. Obviously, you have fractional shares, but that's not very popular. Not a lot of people know about that. And most people want to own a whole share. Not a lot of people want to have this fractional shares here and there, and it's just complicated. So yeah, Nvidia is doing pretty good. So remember, if we go back, we had the Nvidia keynote speech where they were talking about, okay, we're going to roll out the Blackwell chips. They were still saying that the H100 chips are going to be in demand, right? They're not going to slow production on that down, and they're coming out with a new chip that has more capacity, run calculations a lot faster. So we had that, and then there was another. Okay, yeah. So that was the keynote speech, and then also we had the Nvidia earnings. We had Nvidia earnings after that, and they killed it, right? It was like 296% over what they expected, and it was 400% over something, and then 200% in something else. So I'm not sure. So that was really good. They overachieved when it came to earnings. So that's number two. And then number three is the Apple, right? Apple's coming out with their thing on July 10th. Oh, and then also the stock split. So before the Apple thing, you're going to have NVIDIA's stock split, which is going to psychologically bring a lot more retail investors because now they feel like they can afford a share of NVIDIA. So, yeah, and then the Apple thing. So there's been there's two catalysts coming up, and there's two catalysts that have already came and were really bullish. So this might be like an AI summer where we see it trickle into crypto, into stocks, and I think this summer, this June is going to be real bullish for AI, and NVIDIA stock looks like it's not slowing down. This is probably why they're going into this stock split. So SMCI, I think SMCI is taking a little dip today. So this is more of a picks and shovels play, I think, off of NVIDIA. And then what's the other? ASML. ASML's up, doing really good. And remember, they basically make it easier for like warehouses for like I don't know if it's NVIDIA or just in general chip manufacturing warehouses makes it easier to produce them. Like they have the machinery to do so. And then let's look at Tesla. Oh, and then also, so something kind of cool happened today with Berkshire Hathaway stock as well. So Tesla looks like it's taking a dip. Um, so all right. Okay, so what I was gonna mention was the Berkshire A stock. So it was a 630. Now it's back to normal, but it's $631,000 stock. So one share cost 631,000. But today it took a dip all the way to 185. Now it's on the New York Stock Exchange, and they did halt trading. But I'm not sure if somebody. I mean, you would definitely have had to be paying attention very closely, or had some knowledge. Quick. Know about this very quickly, because I'm pretty sure when this happened, they halted trading immediately, and nobody really knew about it. Now, I'm not sure if somebody might have known about it and purchased a share, or people that had like you know buy orders already in. Maybe they had buy orders under like 150 to fill. If you had automatic shares, you probably could have made a lot of money. But again, you would have had to have been ready, and you just had that on there. But yeah, and if you bought a lot of shares, that would have been like 500 to 600% in a day. That would have been nice. But yeah, they took a huge dip, went all the way from 600,000 to 185. They halted trading, and now you see it's back up. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's go to crypto. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is trying to hit 70,000. Again, I think a lot of people are becoming bull. I mean, like in the last week or so, there was a lot of people that are becoming bearish. And, oh, wow, they have all these things on here. So it shows you, right? So it says, that's pretty cool that they're adding this type of stuff. So it shows like the Bitcoin halvening, the second halvening, and you see after every halvening, it just goes parabolic, right? Like halvening right here, parabolic move after. You can't see the parabolic move in the beginning, but yeah, they added this feature, which I think is pretty cool. El Salvador moves forward with Bitcoin. That was a monumental event. FTX collapsed. That definitely destroyed the market. But yeah, so Bitcoin's trying to breach 70K again. I think we're going into the summer. They're saying Bitcoin can hit 100K. It's at 69. It's about to breach its all-time highs again, and I think we're about to go out for a run. And you can see it on the side, like these people that leave the comments here. They say Bitcoin is breaking out. 73K is next. We'll see. We'll see if it's next. All right. Hopefully it's next. Oh man, I think it's about to rain. Okay, yeah. So let's look at some top gainers in the space. So Ethereum, remember Ethereum had its their application approved, and now they need the S1 form approved for it to get approved. They're saying in 2 to 3 weeks we could potentially have an Ethereum ETF on the way. That'd be great. I think that would just contribute to the bull run, right? That would contribute to the bull run. That would just be more bullish news for the crypto space. All right. So top gainers, let's see, last 24 hours. Caspa, Floki, a lot of meme stuff, Dog Whiff. So it looks like with the GameStop meme going up, it looks like that's what came and that's what followed in the crypto market. It looks like a lot of the memes are up. So yeah. But yeah, we're about to break that 70,000 range. And the Fear and Greed Index, if you guys remember, this just shows like how people are feeling towards the crypto market right now, right? And they say once it gets past 90, people are in that FOMO mode, ready to go. Prices are going crazy. I remember back in 2017 when it was my first bull run, bull market that I experienced. Like every day, you would just turn on, like go on to Coinbase, like portfolio would be up 2-3K. some days 5K, and it just kept going up, 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 up. So it's a crazy time, especially if you're positioned accordingly. Should definitely be a good bull run. All right, so let's get into the article, and then I can also share some other stuff. All right, so it says GameStop soars after Roaring Kitty reveals $175 million bet on the retailer. So that's, if you had, like I said, if you had 10 million bucks, that's like a 10x leverage. Well, no, it's a 20x leverage, like close to a 20x, like a 17.5 leverage. It says GameStop surged 21% on Monday after user deep effing value and account believed to tie to an individual investor, Keith Gill, who ignited the meme stock rally back in 2021, posted a screenshot on Reddit late Sunday that purported to show they paid nearly $175 million building a position in the video gamer retailer. GameStop gained as much as 75% as the market opened before. Pairing gains to the session, shares closed at $28 each on Monday. Gill is also known as Roaring Kitty X and YouTube. On X and YouTube, the user posted the screenshot Sunday night on Reddit super subreddit. The screenshot showed holdings of 5 million GameStop shares purchased at an average price of $21, a position worth $115 million as of Friday's close price of 2013. GameStop shares traded hands at $38 each in early trading Monday before they temporarily halted for volatility. The account also appears to own $120,000 options that expire on June 21. These contracts confer the right to buy GameStop shares at $20 each. Okay, so he has the right. So $120,000 option contracts. So 120,000 option contracts. And each contract is 100 shares. So he had 12 million shares and the right to buy each share at $20 a piece, right? So, if he gained a $20 profit, let's say at $40, he's able to buy it at 20, and the stock, let's say it closed at 38. It said I traded 38, and what did it close at today? Closing price of $23. So right now he's not up that much. I mean, $3. I mean, that's still a $36 million gain, and maybe a little bit less than that. So let's see, because people were saying he could get close to $1 million or $1 billion. So times 20. Yeah. So if you closed like at 40, he would be up $240 million. And then his initial position as well, because they said he's holding 5 million shares at an average purchase price of 21. So that would be another 240 million. So yeah, so it'd be around $500 million. That would have been cool. I mean, but it closed at 23. And let's see if we go back. And it's at 28. So he's up a lot. I'd definitely be closing out of those positions. All right, so Steve Interactives warn investors against chasing the rally. It's whoever's controlling this account doing this in your best interest or in their best interest. And really, you should think that one through, because to me, pretty obvious whose interest it's in. Sosnick told Yahoo Finance on Monday, if you're chasing the stock up here, you're more likely than not the source of liquidity for whoever is controlling this account to sell it into your enthusiasm. All right, Monday's surge comes after GameStop rally 180% over a span of 2 days in mid-May after Roaring Kitty posted for the first time on X, formerly known as Twitter. Okay. Typically, investors expect the stock price issuing new shares. They elude the company to decline after stock sale. AMC also commented on the meme frenzy, raising $203. Yeah, AMC was one of those other stocks too. So yeah, I mean, if he closes out, anything above 40 is going to be really good. And good luck to him. I think it'd be great. You make that type of money. But yeah, so what I wanted to talk about. One more thing. So I was at a family gathering this weekend, and we were. I don't really like 401ks, but I was looking into researching 401ks because I didn't know about a certain specific 401k. At the time, we were talking about it at our family gathering, So I was saying that you have to pay taxes on 401k, and a couple of my family members said no. We have a 403b. We don't pay taxes because we pay it up front, so we don't pay it later. And so I went and I researched everything about 401ks. So that way I don't care because I'm not going to invest, but I like to know about certain things so I could be, I'm just checking to see if it's ready, to see, what it's about, right? Because 401ks is a pretty big thing in the finance space. So I just wanted to become educated about it. So this is what I learned, and I could show you guys, I could tell you guys who I went to. I'm just going to give a summary of what I can remember. Might be missing a few things here, but for the most part, I think I recall a lot of what that person said, but I just want to give you. Okay, so Humphrey Yang, he did a good job of explaining all the 401k accounts and the IRA accounts. So the title of the video was "Financial Advisor Explains Retirement Plans for Beginners." In the thumbnail, it has 401k, Roth, IRA, and 403b. All right, so what is okay, so let me just list out the accounts. So this is what I learned, right? So you do have, what I learned is that you most likely do still have to pay taxes if it's a 403b or a traditional 401k. Now IRA, not really, because depending on what you have, and we'll go over it. But you still have to, most likely you have to pay taxes because what I'm going to explain right now. So, okay, so you have the traditional 401k, right? You have the Roth 401k. You have traditional IRA. Then you have the Roth 401k. Then you have a 403b. And he didn't mention anything about a Roth 403b, but I'm pretty sure that's what my uncles were talking about, the Roth 403b, because they were claiming that they don't pay taxes at the end when you withdraw it, like when you're 59 or 60 or whatever age. And the difference between a 401k, a traditional 401k, and a 403b, a 403b is typically for hospitals and nonprofit organizations, and they basically have more providers. And when I say providers, I'm talking about when you go to like your 401k plan, typically they may have like one or two options where you have to pick, and you basically have to go with those options. There's no other options. With a 403b, typically for hospitals and nonprofits, you have more providers. That's typically what's the difference. You have more options to choose from. But as far as the way it works, let me put my thing to charge. But as far as the way it works, it's the same thing. So the way a traditional 401k works is you would put money in it pre-tax. So that means the money you contribute to it, you would put pre-tax, and you would have to pay taxes on that money when you withdraw. That's for traditional 401k. And then obviously, what would the contributions is typically up to the job, but it's typically up to $22,000 to $30,000 a year. Because even though you have to pay taxes out, like when you withdraw it, because you put pre-tax money into the traditional 401k, even though you have to pay taxes on, it grows at a non taxable rate, right? Or not, it's being non-tax when it grows, so it's growing a lot stronger. So yeah, it's taxed at the end, but you do get that advantage, right? That's the advantage of a 401k, but they limit you to only put in, I think, like 22 to 30,000 and things like that, right? So that's a traditional 401k. A Roth 401k, right? A Roth 401k is basically when you take the you take the taxes up front, and you don't you don't pay taxes when you withdraw, right? But the thing about the traditional 401k and the Roth 401k is this: most employers offer the match, right? That's the main reason why people get a 401k is because their employer offers a match. I rarely see people that do a 401k that don't get a match. Even and my uncles were talking about it; they were getting a match. So even in the scenario where you choose a Roth 401k, if you have a match, that money that they match you will always be pre-tax money that goes into your 401k. You cannot take the taxes. You cannot take the taxes off of the match money. That always has to go in pre-tax. So for that reason, if you are getting matched, you will always pay taxes at the end when you withdraw on that specific portion, right? So that's why I say you're always going to pay taxes on your 401k, no matter, whether you do the Roth or the traditional 401k. And the 403b is just you get more providers, essentially. You get more providers, you get more options. And again, a lot of the difference is to the contributions. I'm not specifically sure, but they're off by like 2,000-3,000. And then they also the penalties too. They get like certain penalty stuff, but none of that is connected to the taxes at the end, right? The difference between the 403b and the traditional 401k and the Roth 401k is, yes, pre-tax, not pre-tax, go in there. But if you're getting a match, it doesn't matter because they have to put that in pre-tax into each one of those buckets. So you still have to pay taxes on that. And then the contribution is going to be tweaked a little bit, and then also the penalties. But don't get the penalties and the contributions confused with the money you have to pay taxes on at the end. Right? Those are just the limits for the 403b and the traditional IRA. I mean, traditional 401k. So yeah. And then also I was going to say something else. I was thinking about something else. Yeah. And then also, contributions and earnings. Just make sure you know the difference between that. Contributions is what you put in, and then earnings is the money that you earn on top of your contributions, right? Or the match money that they put in. And that might be taxed a different way depending on which 401k you go in with. But again, that has nothing to do with being taxed at the end. If you have an employer that matches you, you will always be taxed on the end on that portion. And then IRA and Roth IRA, same thing. Roth, you already been taxed on it. So you don't have to pay taxes on the end, and there's no employee contribution there, I don't think, for IRA. And then the traditional IRA, it is pre-tax, so you have to pay taxes on that. Now the difference here, the major difference between the IRA and the 401ks is that it's a lower amount that you could put in the IRA. I think it's like 6,000 to 7,000 that you could put a year. But again, that's still tax free, but it's, again, they limit it, right? So that's why I don't do 401k or IRAs. Maybe I'll think about doing an IRA at some point, but I don't like them because, again, why are we putting limits on it? If I want to contribute as much as I want to contribute, let me contribute as much as I want to contribute. I don't see, why we're going to limit that. At least up until like 50%. At least put it up to a lot. But again, I think they cap it for a reason because they don't want you to get to a certain amount. That's just my opinion. But yeah, that's the lesson on 401ks and IRAs. I honestly, since I never did them before and never enrolled in one, I never took the time out to learn. But now I know, what is a traditional 401k? What is a Roth 401k? What is a traditional IRA? What is a Roth IRA? What is a 403b? They also have a 457 for government workers, but it's similar. The difference will always be like the contributions, the limits, and like the penalty timing. And they also have another one called a SEP I don't know if it's a SEP 401k or a SEP IRA. It's self-employed IRA. And then there's benefits with that too, but you would have to check that out too. I didn't read into that. It's like after a certain amount of years, you're able to put like up to 100 something. I don't know. I forget about that. But there's something called a SEP IRA or 401k. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that. That's something I learned this weekend. I think it's important when you hear stuff to go research it and don't let it sit. I was just curious about it because I know, like, I was hearing somebody saying you always have to pay taxes at the end. And the reason why is because you usually always get that match. When you hear somebody talk about 401k, what do they sell to you? Oh, you get your employer's match. It's free money, right? But, you get penalized if you withdraw early. And on top of that, you do have to pay taxes if you do get that match. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one, and take care.